Take my lips and speak through them. Take our ears and hear through them. Take our hearts and set them on fire with love for thee. May I speak in the name of the living God.
Amen.
When death approaches, life comes down to its simplest terms. What matters is loving, feeding, washing, praying. What matters is singing songs and being with. Despite what we see on TV, the end is not usually a time for big moments and heady speeches. That time has certainly passed. Now it all comes down to small things and great love. Love is on Jesus' mind tonight. And he knew that his hour had come to depart from this world and to go to the Father. Having loved his own who were in the world, he loved them to the end. He gathered with his disciples in an upper room in secret because of the danger for what will be their last supper. Only two of them know this, Jesus and Judas Iscariot, who, because the devil has put it into his heart, is about to betray him. Jesus is remembered as having done two deceptively small things on his last night with his disciples. He fed them and he washed them. He knew the power of human touch. Mary had anointed his feet at his last dinner with his friends in Bethany. Mary and Martha and their brother Lazarus, whom Jesus had recently raised from the dead. Mary had poured out expensive perfume upon his feet and dried it with her hair. The fragrance filled the room and still lingered on his skin and on his clothing. Judas had berated her, but Jesus understood. He knew she had anointed him beforehand for his burial. She had poured out something of great value for love. And he was about to do the same with his life. Perhaps with her example in mind, he stripped for work, took off his outer robe, wrapped a towel around his waist, and began to wash the disciples' feet. And all was quiet uncomfortableness. Washing dirty feet was the work of slaves, foreign slaves, not Jewish slaves, certainly not a Messiah. Nameless people, people who could kind of vanish into the woodwork. That was what was required. Something significantly lacking in Jesus as he made his way around the room on his knees. Peter is appalled. Lord, are you going to wash my feet? You don't know what I'm doing, says Jesus, but later you will understand. Well, Peter did not understand what Jesus was doing, and he was having none of it. You will never wash my feet. It's hard to be seen, isn't it? To let people see us, I don't mean in our strengths, in our gifts, not when we're putting ourselves out there to be seen, but in our bare feet, in the private self that we don't readily share, and forgetting to put the sermon in the pulpit. No, thank you. To be loved unadorned as is, that is scary, it's vulnerable, it's awkward, and take it from me, we would just as soon pass. If I don't wash you, you cannot be part of what I'm doing, says Jesus, giving the good news and the bad news at once. You can't remain an onlooker, he's telling Peter and us. You must be willing to surrender, to put yourself in my hands. You cannot be invulnerable and be a part of what I'm doing, because vulnerability is at the heart of what I'm doing. Then, Lord, not only my feet, cries Peter, the patron saint of the enthusiastic, also my hands and my feet and my head. And Jesus says, you're clean, but not all of you. And kneeling down, he began to pour water over the feet of Judas, who would betray him. He washes all as he dies for all. Tonight he lays aside his garments, as tomorrow he will lay aside his life to wash us clean. Do you know what I have done to you? Jesus asks after he's gotten dressed again and is sitting at the table. And no, of course, they have no idea. The question could be a meditation. If I, your Lord and teacher, have washed your feet, you also should wash one another's feet. I have set you an example, that as I have done, you also should do to one another. I give you a new commandment, that you love one another, just as I have loved you. You also should love one another. In the face of the brokenness and wickedness of the world, love was the weapon Jesus chose. Nuclear bombs can level whole cities, but only love is strong enough to break through the defenses of the human heart. It was love that brought him into the world, and love that will take him out. For love of them, for love of us, he will lay it all down. Love is the message, love is the means, love is the end. No one is left out. Not Peter, who denies him, not Judas, who betrays him, not you and me with our secret and hello, not so secret sins, and not that annoying so-and-so who drives us up a righteous wall. I'm not saying that it's what we do, accepting people like that. Loving and serving people like that, taking Zelensky's feet and Putin's feet and Trump's feet into his hands and washing them clean. I'm not saying it's what we do. I'm saying it's what Jesus does and what he would have us do. And he gives us the means to do it by empowering us with his life. On this last night, he feeds us with himself, that we might become one with who he is. I received from the Lord what I also made known to you, writes St. Paul in one of the earliest passages in the New Testament. On the night he was betrayed, he took bread. And when he had given thanks, he broke it. Does this sound familiar? And said, this is my body, that is for you. Do this for the remembrance of me. In the same way, also, he took the cup after supper, saying, this is the new covenant in my blood. Do this as often as you drink it in remembrance of me. Remembrance in Hebrew thought is not just like recalling something to mind, it's like something from the dim past. To remember like this is to make time dissolve, to make the past present. It's not a mental recollection. It's an active engagement with the situation. So it's kind of like a play isn't just happening on opening night. It's really happening every single time. Jesus takes the Passover meal and he reinterprets it and gives us a meal to remember him, to make time dissolve, to connect us to his immediate telling of this story, doing of this action, to make him present and powerful. On the night he was betrayed, he took bread. Take, eat, he said, not the body of a lamb, but my body given for you. To remember and reenact not your freedom from slavery in Egypt, but your slavery to sin and death. And this is the new covenant in my blood, he said, not the blood of a lamb poured out on the doorposts of the house so the angel of death will pass over the Israelites, but my blood, his blood, poured out for the forgiveness of sins, so that God's judgment might pass over the sins of the whole world. They didn't know then what he was doing, but later they will understand. we will understand. He washes us and he feeds us because he loves us. The littlest among us can feel the solace of it, the love and belonging of it. The end of life, like life's beginning, isn't heady. Jesus didn't tell the disciples, think this through, figure this out. He just said, do this. Do this. And we have been doing it ever since. As the great Dom Gregory Dix once observed, was ever a command more obeyed? In every possible circumstance, we have done this in remembrance of him and found ourselves bound to each other and to Christ in love. In the end, it's the simple things that matter, the simple things that abide. Love one another as I have loved you. Do this to remember me. Amen.